demon.
It's
Two
very
demons.
friendly demons.
All right, welcome to this Philly by Night solo session from Madeline Clark. Please keep in mind that there could be a number of triggers that come up during this session. Not limited to, but including raised voices, colorful language, use and abuse of disciplines, dubious consent, and let's see, what else?
Body dysmorphia for Maddie, always.
Body dysmorphia, gaslighting, and manipulation. More may be added as the session goes on, but the viewer's discretion is advised. So, Maddie.
I have a quick question, Kendall.
Yeah, what?
I still have 1 superficial willpower damage, and apparently I left last session at 2 hunger. So.
Oh, I didn't have you down for 2 hunger.
Oh.
And
am I not at 2 hunger then? Because I know I didn't raise any hunger during the rouse check. Should I? What do I do?
We can have you at 2 hunger. That'll be fine since this is a feeding session.
That is true.
And with superficial willpower damage, a superficial willpower damage heals up to whichever is higher your composure or resolve.
Okay, so I'm good then.
Whenever you go into your day's sleep, yeah. So you're good.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure all my stats were good before we got into the session. Thank you. Continue.
Yes. So, Maddie, you went down for your day sleep at 2 hunger. But as you rouse an hour before sundown, you're still hungry, but your blood has not forced you to draw. It does not taxed you. And as you almost automatically blush, the result is the same. Now you wake in the chantry, so you are free to roam and wander around within the belly beneath the hospital that it resides. And you would also know that your sire wakes an hour before sundown as well.
Maddie wants to go to the library. She doesn't want to see Islington just yet.
Okay.
Which, some days she goes and sees him pretty quickly. Some days she dawdles for the hour before they can leave the chantry.
Okie dokie. So, you go and you find the library. There are some places that are still roped off where most of the chantry or the ghouls are not really allowed to roam, and you have been advised to also follow some of those guidelines as to where you should and shouldn't be within the chantry. But the library is open access to all Tremere. Any books that you can't read or aren't allowed to read are not within this area.
Okay. I guess Maddie wants to research her ancestor Mirlinda. She has been informed she's a descendant of Mirlinda. She doesn't know much about her. And Islington is very hush-hush about his lineage for some reason. Sounds like his sire wasn't a good one or something. So she's a little bit curious, at least, about the more notable ancestor. So she wants to try and see if there's anything on that.
Okay, well, since we are looking through a library, you are allowed to give me an intelligence plus academics or an intelligence plus occult as you are looking. If you have a research specialty in academics, you may use that.
I have.
If you are rolling academics.
I have archaeology, not research, so.
I feel ya.
Okay, and I can use my actual dice, or do I need to use the dice spot?
You can use your actual dice. This is a side session.
Okay.
The dice spot is only required during coterie sessions.
Okay, so I do not add my archaeology specialty. That is 6 dice. 4 successes. They were all 6s. Lies, 1 was a 9. Oh, 2 were 9s, 2 were 6s. That's
the line underneath the numbers are very important.
Yes. Yeah, 4 successes to
Go.
research.
Yes. As you are researching and you are finding various books within the library, it is fairly well organized. It seems like some things have been cleaned up and some things have been like put into a normal library system within the Chantry Library since you last saw it, because when everyone originally arrived to the Chantry Library, it was a bit of a mess. It was very disorganized. There was a lot of damage and a lot of things that needed to be restored, but it seemed like there's been progress made.
Yay.
So as you are, yeah. So things are also, by relation to that, easier to find as far as research goes. And Marilinda is one of the kindred, is one of the progenitors of the Tremere that have a decent amount written about them here. Because what you would be able to find is that she was one of the founders of House Tremere. That she was one of the first Tremere, and she had quite a few children, of her own, including someone by the name of John D, who you would probably recognize occasion whenever Islington in those rare moments has talked about his own lineage.
All right.
She and one more thing you would have been able to find out was that she was one of the few women that was created in the early days of Premiere. That it had very sexist origins.
Well,
With the
Madeline
whole
makes some
successes, that's what you get.
notes, and she thinks like, "Wow, at least that's one cool ancestor." But then she gets cynical for a moment in her mind. That's still a Tremere, an old Tremere, one of the original Tremere. How horrible is she, like the rest of the clan? And with that sour thought, she kind of packs up her notes and leaves the library.
Okay.
I guess she goes looking for Islington now, assuming he's in his office because that's almost always where she finds him.
I don't know. Would she find him in his office?
Yeah, he's finishing up his morning rituals. And when you come and find him, good morning. Well, evening. How are you?
Evening, Mr. Islington. I'm all right. You?
Well, I'm doing all right. I believe tonight is the night I will be overseeing your instruction in how to feed on people. Prepare for this.
Right.
I know you're not comfortable with the idea. Truth be told, I'm not usually either, but we do need to be able to do that, among other things, as part of our increasing our abilities with the blood.
I understand.
And it's a skill that will serve you well in the future.
Yep. She kind of checks herself that she's got all her things. Once the sun's set, I'm ready.
Well, before we go anywhere, let me ask you, what scares you about it?
Um, it it feels rather invasive. I mean,
It is.
Cornering someone and somehow convincing them, whether through force or persuasion or whatever, to let them drink of you, or not even do that. Violently attack them, which I do not really have the ability to do, and grab their wrist or neck where the main arteries are and sink your teeth in until you have enough, and then make sure that you don't kill them. It's a lot.
At best, it can be described as intimate, and that's at its best. At its worst, you're extorting, intimidating, beating people up. I get that. I understand. It's a difficult thing, to be sure. But
I'm afraid of losing control and just killing someone.
and that's a fear, and that's a valid fear. That is a danger for all of us. But you are very human, which tends to mean that you're less likely to do that. Not completely, but less. And if you're smart, you don't let yourself get too far gone before you go feed. It can be done with some relative safety. Now, I've allowed myself to become hungry tonight so that I can demonstrate. And then you will take your turn. And I will assist you to make sure that things go smoothly.
Okay.
First things that you need to do is figure out what method works best for you. Now, I don't see you as the sort to beat up a random homeless person and feed on them. You might be adept at slipping into people's bedrooms while they sleep, but I think you lack the training in that sort of larcenous skill.
Yeah. I know a little bit of larceny, not a lot.
Yes, I know. But you don't strike me as the sort of person who would extort people or set up traps. Well, we're predators, dear.
I suppose. Don't mind me casually looking at predator types to see what my dice pool's decent for.
You're functionally, well, morally different. Functionally, we are not much different than a serial killer. I suspect the best thing for you, given your attributes and personality, is to either do what is referred to as siren hunting or scene hunting.
I'm siren, like the Greek sirens where they lure people to their deaths?
Something like that. Siren hunting involves seducing people. They think they're going to get a certain kind of experience, and once you get alone and in an intimate position, you feed.
With all due respect, Mr. Islington, I'm horrible at flirting.
Yes, but you are a beautiful woman, and you're charming. I think Scene Queen will be easier for you to learn.
I don't know.
This is very similar in a couple of ways to some of the others. you will find a crowd that you are particularly comfortable with, say college students. Then you will get close enough to them so that they allow you to be alone with them. And you can choose what particular method you want to use to convince them to let you feed. You do know how to cloud memory, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So either you dominate, not in the discipline sense, but in a personality sense, them into letting you bite them, or you will charm them into letting you bite them, or you will gaslight them.
Yeah, I'm great at all of those.
I know this is odd, but you do need to learn how to feed from living people, and I don't think you want to be doing it in a violent manner.
No. No.
Now, if you want to learn how to be the sort that feeds on people in their sleep, we can certainly work on your stealth skills so that it is something that you're better at. But I don't think you're there yet.
Probably not.
So let's go with doing scene hunting.
Okay. Yeah, we could head over to the university or yeah. I fit in well there.
Yes, you do. And while you do not acknowledge your own beauty, your beauty will help you in this arena. People will be more apt to talk to you. They may become tongue-tied. Do you know what that...
I know what the word means.
These are the ones that are safe for you. There are other methods, but they are less safe.
Okay. Then let's try the scene one.
Okay.
I freaking can't escape the scene queen, dang it!
Yes, Islington has also realized that there is someone that she would be actually pretty good at and probably would feel less bad about it, but it's a masquerade risk, so no, he's not teaching it to her.
Don't let her know consensualist is an option.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there are some other options that she would be better at, but they're not ones that are completely other people would be completely aware of in that part of her skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, though I'd be great at Grim Reaper and Pursuer. I'd be great at those. That uses intelligence.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, threats of violence. But yeah, sure, go ahead. Anyways, once the sun goes down, we will go to the college campus. There's some bars near there that college students hang out in. You'll fit in quite well.
Oh, bars.
You'll be fine. College students, dear.
Yeah. I've just been told by some I have a peculiar style, and more likely to find me in a coffee cafe thing or
We can do
than a
that too,
bar.
if you would prefer. There's some coffee shops around that area as well.
I don't know. I just don't think I'm dressed to go to a bar.
Depends on the bar, I suppose.
That is true. We are in a historic area. I might blend. Yeah. Okay. Sure. We can try that. How do you hunt when you're not getting a bag?
Depends on the situation. Sometimes I will pursue something not unlike what we'll be doing tonight. I have, on occasion, pursued Siren, though it's not my specialty. And
She just has this horrible image of her head, or see her sire seduce someone.
I have even been known to, sneaking into places is not outside my skill set. It depends on the situation, where I'm at, what I'm looking for. Different kinds of personalities will generate certain resonances. If you're looking for somebody who is particularly sanguine, which we need for our blood sorcery, for instance, finding someone who is more apt to be excited for intimate moments would help with that.
Okay. Noted.
The fact that we have the ability to wipe their memories makes it a little easier. Only wipes their memory for a few moments, but that can be enough.
Yeah, they don't need to remember my teeth and their skin. Yeah.
There is one method that I will not suggest for you because I don't think you'd be comfortable with it. I have known of people who would pay for a professional escort, feed on them, and make them forget that part of their encounter.
Yeah, no, and I don't have that type of money.
Mm-hmm. I know you don't need to breathe, but try and take a deep breath.
This is hard. This is hard. But thank you for helping me through it.
Of course.
Oh, speaking of money, I'm in the middle of interviewing for one of the museums around here to specialize in their Greco-Roman department.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I think I'll get it.
I'm certain you will, and if you need a recommendation from your professor, I think I can arrange for that.
Good. It'd just be so hard to contact him. Just so far away.
I'd be glad to help. Other than, let me distract you from what we're about to do, I guess. Is everything else all right?
Yeah. Just trying to get to know my coterie mates better, doing more research. Still concerned about how on earth a dinosaur vanished from the museum in 15 minutes. But yeah.
A few ways. Most of them involve supernatural elements, but it wouldn't be out of the question for other things to have done it.
Yeah. Was talking to one of my coterie mates over text. We're thinking of hanging out sometime. We both like nature. Go to a park or something.
Which one?
Cal.
Ah.
I was going to teach him chess, and he was going to bring some outdoor games, and we talked about fishing. I don't know if we can fish in the city, but, you know.
Most cities allow you to fish along the banks of the river, as long as you get the permits and so on. Imagine that Philadelphia isn't all that different.
Probably not. So, yeah, we're thinking about hanging out sometime. Just relaxing. Not stressed out about the Mandragora.
Young Gangrel fellow, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Haven't really texted the other two yet. I still don't think Percy likes me. but I think I did impress her a little bit with some of the combat training. I was able to show off some of my gymnastic skills and dodge. And then Louisa, I don't know what she thinks.
Very well.
But she seems to like me decent enough. It's just Percy who doesn't seem to. But it is fine. We still collaborate decently well so far.
You'll find that many of us tend to be standoffish in general and reserved in our emotions. It's possible that Percy thinks you fine, but their particular personality quirks just make it seem like they're being distant.
Yeah, I think she respects physical prowess, which I don't have a lot of. So, it seems she respects Cal the most because he seems to be the best combatant besides hers. Well, we'll see.
Interesting.
What do you mean?
Well, I watched all of them, and I've spent my fair share of time around soldiers and fighters and what have you. I would imagine Percy is quite capable with a sword. And I imagine Cal is used to rough and tumble fighting.
And Louisa is apparently good at shooting.
Yes, I was going to say Louisa probably has more combat experience than all of you together, if I had to take a guess. She has a gun and knows how to use it. You don't do that just for target practice, not the ones she uses.
I think she's definitely been embraced the longest out of the four of us.
That tracks. And she has the affectations and characterizations of being a member of the mob. And the mob in vampiric circles in Chicago is well known. Loden's line, as I recall, is got a lot of gangsters amongst them.
What, like Al Capone?
Yeah.
And she thinks she's making it. What?
Yeah.
I thought we weren't supposed to embrace famous people.
Dracula is actually a vampire. You know this, right?
Samisi.
Yes. There's indications that, well, I've never met them. Robin Hood. There's also a Ventru who claims to be the god Mithras.
Oh, okay. So I guess that makes sense that Kindred would want their hands in organized crime. That's probably good for getting a lot of stuff.
Yeah. It's a we're not supposed to, but we can't always govern what legends will become popular over time. Imagine,
There's literally a book on Dracula, though.
by all accounts, he had something to do with that book existing.
Okay.
It's a good book, by the way. If you have never read it, I would recommend it.
Bram Stoker, very good. I mean, helped start off so much of the Gothic literature scene. And then the horror scene with Frankenstein and Mary Shelley. Good stuff.
I enjoyed reading it to Benny not too long ago.
Oh. How has she been outside of being sheriff?
She seems to be doing well.
Good. I'm gonna schedule some training time with her sometime soon.
I've already ordered the other Tremere in the Chantry to do that, except for Alma, because, well, she's quite capable and has proven it on occasion.
You were smirking. Do they not want to go train? Are they afraid of the glitter?
Zero seemed to think that it was a request. I had to clarify that it was not.
As y'all are
Sometimes you're
talking,
Yes?
you both feel almost this calm wash over yourselves from your beast. The sun has set.
Shall we?
Yep. Sometimes you're a mischievous old man. She
I
just
have-
kind of grins at him.
I have no idea what you're talking about, young lady.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She just walks out the door. Waiting for him so they can go.
All right. And we will make our way to a coffee shop or bar near the college campus.
Which college are y'all looking at?
Which one's
There-
closest to us near the hospital?
There are a couple of different ones in the area.
I believe actually I still have a cover identity as a professor at one of them. I'm not sure which one Einar recommended to me, though.
It looks like he's typing in the chat. UPenn.
UPenn. Okay. University of Pennsylvania.
That's the Ivy League one? I can't keep up. Yee. Okay, that's the Ivy League school. Cool.
Does that track for you, Kendall?
Yeah, I just had to find what's near it.
Okay.
There are a couple of cafes near it. Like there is a White Dog Cafe University. I would say closes in about an hour from where y'all are. There's a New Deck Tavern, which is a bar that a lot of students go to. There are a couple of other dining establishments that y'all could probably hit up around there. And a good few Dunkin' Donuts.
Duncan.
Inferior donuts. Got it.
Agreed. Gimme Timmy.
So Islington will advise as we're driving, you don't want to hit a proper restaurant. Because
That would be weird.
you can't exactly walk up and just sit at someone's table. You want to go someplace that there's a bar or it's expected that people will share space together. A cafe or a bar being the ones that work the best.
I guess bar then. That way we don't have to worry about it closing.
Indeed.
We haven't been to a bar in a while. Okay. And she just kind of like smooths out her shirt.
And you are human enough to enjoy a glass of wine, which without problems, which will make you stand out, be able to pass better. You don't have to drink a lot, just have it there and sip it so that it looks like you belong.
You'll hear Jerry pipe up from the front seat. Mr. Islington, she is much like yourself. She takes tea rather than wine.
Very
But
good.
I can stomach it for at least an hour or so.
No. Stick to something you can drink. Most places have some form of tea. Chai, I understand, is very popular these days.
Or I could just get a sweet tea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll probably get,
I would recommend avoiding the Long Island iced tea variety. That is not what it sounds like.
yeah, it's alcohol.
So yes, we'll go to someplace it's a bar and that won't
Okay.
close within a few minutes or something.
Yeah. Let me roll his drive roll.
Poor Jerry, just having to watch his friend like become more and more a monster. This is gonna hurt.
He's been around Kindred for 15 years. Do you think he's not used to this?
No, but that's his friend.
No,
Uh huh.
he's
Now
just
she's
sitting.
now she's his superior.
Uh,
You could always feed on me. I can just.
I totally don't have a crush on you, Maddie. What are you talking about?
Okay. It's a slow drive. It's still it's late enough that the traffic isn't terrible, but there are still people coming and going because it's just after the sun goes down. People getting like last minute errands done. People leaving work. But he will pull up to a place called the New Deck Tavern. Um, it seems to be very student oriented. There's like a poster of a lion on the outside. Seems like it's an Irish pub. He will pull up and he will kind of look back to both of you. Did you want me to go find a place to park, or did you want me to drive around? Do you want me to stick around?
Um, you can park if you would prefer. I would prefer to keep you nearby in the car in case something goes wrong, but I don't think anything will.
Okay.
Thank you,
And
Jerry.
he will look back at Maddie. You're gonna do great. It's gonna be okay.
Thanks,
We
Jerry.
can watch some movies after this.
Yeah. And thanks for the ride. And she just gives him a big smile.
And he'll smile back.
Oblivious to what effect it may or may not have.
And he will drop y'all off at the pub and go find a place to park.
Okay.
As y'all are getting out, please give me a wits and awareness.
Alrighty.
If you have your heightened senses activated, you may add your Auspex rating to the roll.
Yes! Let's go. I love heightened senses. It's such a good discipline. That is 5 successes.
I got 4.
Good. As you are looking around, it is not an incredibly busy night, but there are still people here. They all seem to be within the student age range. There seem to be people also working, a couple of bartenders, there's a hostess, and there's an area for seating yourself, all that kind of jazz. I have nothing special for y'all right now.
So, Islington will be like, allow me to show you how I would approach. And he'll look around for someone who looks like they're studying. Like, I know back when I was in college, this wasn't uncommon. Like, you'd go to a bar, you'd sit there, you'd have your drink, and you'd work on your homework or taking notes out of a textbook or something while you were doing it. Anything like that?
With both of your awareness rolls, I would say I would probably find a couple of different people in that kind of headspace.
Mm-hmm.
There are probably 2 of them that you'd be able to identify.
Okay. He will pick one that looks like a likely prospect.
Okay. One of them looks like a someone who has a couple of textbooks out. They seem to be writing down notes vigorously. You can probably see a couple tattoos peeking out from under their collar. A young woman. And the other is a very good-looking young man who seems to be dressed for the night, but looks like he's probably trying to get homework done before he meets up with like friends probably at that bar.
Okay. Islington will approach the woman and do the look over at the book. Oh, what are you working on? Sort of conversation starter.
She will look up, very brief, a little surprised, and kind of straighten up because you look like you might be like a professor that might work there or might be coming in there. Oh, I'm just getting my you know how you have those the core that you have to get done. I'm just trying to study up. I got a history test in a couple of days, and I just have to get everything done before I can take it. And I have to go over everything, or else she babbles for a moment and then kind of gives you a sheepish smile. But then we'll look around. Do you need help with something?
Actually, I saw you were working on it. Do you need help? I can help you with this. History is something of a specialty of mine.
Give me a charisma plus persuasion, please.
Yeah. Let me see. Which one am I looking at? That one. Okay. Charisma plus persuasion. I will blood search.
Okay.
I do not get hunger from the blood surge. Good. I'll spend a willpower. Just
Uh-oh.
not.
Okay.
It's not that uh-oh yet.
Yet.
Okay. So I got 4 successes total.
All right. She will seem a little wary at first. Strange man, even if you are professor demeanor, but you seem genuine, so she will soften. And she will kind of make a gesture to the seat across from her. Yeah, actually, I could probably use some help. I've been meaning to find a study group, but I'm kind of all my friends are a little busy right now.
I understand. And sometimes it feels like you're imposing. Yes?
Sometimes, but it's just we as a group we tend to do a lot of different kinds of things together, and it's not difficult to ask them for stuff. It's just this seems so mundane sometimes, you know.
Oh, of course. And he will actually, before feeding, he'll spend a little bit of time explaining to her some techniques for memorizing and getting dates correctly and so on. If you need me to do like a academics role, I can do that.
Give me a charisma plus academics.
Will do. Well, that will do, I guess. That's 5 with a crit.
She will move to your side of the table as you are talking so that you can better explain, because it's starting to get, the later it gets, the more people come in and the louder it is getting in the bar area. At the corner of your eye, you could see that attractive young man meet up with some other friends and disperse. And she will nod and she will repeat some of the things back to you.
Okay. And he will, seeing that the other study guy has left. All right. He will do the sort of lean in, like you're going to whisper kind of thing. It's like and try and convince her that he's going to sort of neck her, I guess. Like he's making a pass at her in a particular kind of way, and bite, but not in a obvious way. More like a person who's trying to keep it subterfuge, I guess.
Okay. Give me a charisma plus subterfuge.
Can I argue manipulation plus subterfuge?
You are flirting.
I am flirting. All right, I can go with charisma.
This is a siren roll, and you know it.
Yeah, I know. All right. So you know what? I'm going to blizzards again. Hey, I don't get hungrier. This is not his best pool, to be clear.
I understand.
Okay. Well, I will be spending another willpower this time because I want to make sure I have enough successes because I rolled a 1 on the blood die. Okay. So a total of 6 with a crit. 1 on the blood die.
Okay. That's it. You've met the difficulty. You are able to kind of get her sequestered into the table that y'all are sitting at. And you are able to sink your fangs in. And you're able to slake yourself down to 1 hunger. And I'm assuming you cloud memory.
Yes.
Okay. And you now have an intense sanguine resonance.
Oh my. Okay. And after doing the cloud memory, I make sure that she I do give her a business card and be like, hey, if you need any more help with history, feel free to contact me. I'll be glad to assist you in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will back off.
She will give a bit of a dizzy nod, but she'll nod, and she will take another sip of her drink and return to studying. Cheap. And then she'll look around and for the menu to get something to eat.
And he will pull back and talk to Maddie in a sort of private corner as best he can.
Maddie, give me an intelligence plus awareness.
Okay. Do I get to add my heightened senses?
Yeah. This is more of an observation roll to see
if I saw what happened.
For what you saw and what you're able to maintain about this kind of hunting.
6.
6 successes?
6 successes.
Very good, very good.
With a 1 on the blood die, I assume I pass.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is more I didn't have a set difficulty for this. This is more of a sliding scale of how much you'll get.
Thank goodness.
You probably just like take up a seat somewhere where you can watch Islington, but you are not overly overbearing where you are.
Yeah, she also
But
probably
you-
got a sweet tea drink just so she doesn't look weird that she's just in a bar doing nothing.
Yeah, you probably have like a notebook or something out, like writing some stuff down, putting on the whole airs of being a student because there are a lot of those there and it's not unusual.
Yep.
But as you are sipping your sweet tea, you kind of hear various people come in. You hear there's a large TV set up on the wall. There's probably some sport or news
Go
playing at
Eagles!
the time. But you manage to focus in on Islington. You kind of put on your mufflers in a way of you turn off your ears and you focus on your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really hear the conversation, but you're able to observe very strictly what he is doing with this young woman that is sitting across from him, who has moved to the other side to sit with him. Initially, it seems like a normal teacher-student interaction, but then you notice he behaves in ways that you have not interacted with him before. He brushes her hair back. He leans in a little closer. It's almost intimate as he is talking to her.
She's trying not to gag.
Mm-hmm. I imagine that she's looking at this in a very... She's kind of separating from it in a way and looking at it very clinically.
She's doing her best, but also the back of her mind's like, that's my sire. Okay, my sire has some riz. Also, that's my sire posing as a teacher with a student. This is just weird. Whatever. Focus on the method. Focus, Madeline.
Mm-hmm. And you would see that she is interested in it. She is into it. And as she leans in, he would lean in, and you wouldn't be able to see it very clearly because it's very purposefully hidden since you are in a public place.
Mm-hmm.
But as he pulls away and looks her in the eyes, you see that he is sated. He is fed.
Okay. She watched. She's observed.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll come back and join her at her table. And so, what did you observe?
Building the trust first and keeping things subtle.
Yes. It's not the only way, but it is the way that works best for me in this particular environment. And
Okay.
you will be better at it.
Okay. And she kind of like nervously, even though she can't sweat, she like nervously wipes her hands on her pants.
So
I'm ready to try.
I want you to pick who you're going to feed from. Part of this is deciding who is a good candidate. Just look around and find someone.
Okay. Maddie looks around.
Okay. Give me a wits and awareness.
With heightened senses, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Wits and awareness. 4 successes.
Okay. You can see a couple of other people. They don't fall within the same parameters that Islington had told you about to look for someone that was studying, to look for someone that was probably alone. But these people they fall into a scene of being a student. They seem to. There is one person that seems to have fallen asleep. Like on the bar. They have gotten into it way too early. They seem to have pre-gamed pretty hard. The other person that seems to check that mark for you is the bartender. He seems to have stepped aside to take a break and is sitting at one of the further back tables and is probably one of the older students at the university. Because it looks
I look like
he
one of the old. Well,
Mhm.
minus the ingenue, I look like one of the older students. I'm gonna head for the bartender.
Okay.
Okay.
Before you start walking that way, do you want me to come with to make sure everything goes all right, or do you want me to wait here?
I wait, please, but keep an eye out.
Indeed. One thing you'll need to get used to is that you will feel things based off the blood that you're drinking. Bear that in mind. Be prepared for it.
Okay. And Maddie takes her drink, gathers her courage, and meanders over to the bartender. Hi, is this seat taken? And she just kind of brushes her hair back.
He will look up at you and kind of give you that kind of customer service smile, but it seems just a little bit strained. Give me a charisma plus persuasion.
And I get to add ingenue and stunning?
It's a persuasion roll, so you don't get to add your ingenue, but you can add your stunning.
Okay. Okay, charisma, persuasion, and stunning. Is there a DC?
4.
I'm gonna spend a willpower then. Much better. Okay. So instead of 3 successes, I now have 5 successes.
Okay, and how many willpower have you spent so far?
This is my first one of the day.
Okay.
So I've got 4 left.
There is a moment of hesitation. And I think Maddie would recognize it as someone that has just gotten on break who is talking to a customer again. And it's a very brief moment of hesitation, but you smile at him, you tuck your hair back, you kind of lean in a little bit, and he kind of it's almost like he physically relents. He'll offer you a charming smile in return, and he kind of just gestures to the seat across from him. Sure. Go ahead.
Thanks. I wasn't trying to bother you as a customer. I just I had noticed you, and I'm new in town, and I was wondering. I'm just trying to get to know more people.
Oh. Yeah, this is a pretty touristy place, huh? Are you a new student, or did you come here for vacation or something?
I'm a student. I'll be starting here in the fall. For now, I've got an internship for the summer, so I'm just trying to get to know the big city and to know people. There's so many people here. You're right. It is a big tourist location.
Okay. Where are you from? What? Are you looking for a tour guide or something? There are a lot of different kind of folks and the like around here. What kind of thing are you looking for?
I, this sounds horrible. But like, friends, people to hang out with. I'm just trying to get settled into my new life in the city. I'm not looking for a tour guide. I just am trying to get to know more people.
Oh no, I get you. I get you. I run into a lot of people around here, and I know a lot of different kinds of groups. So, well, oh, I'm sorry. He kind of realizes himself and holds out a hand. Roman Sawiki.
Roman, that's such a cool name. I'm actually studying Greco-Roman history and archaeology. Addie, name's Addie.
Nice to meet you, Addie. Go ahead and give me a manipulation plus subterfuge, please.
Can I add ingenue now?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
And this also includes your setting since it's the social role.
Yay. I figured to tell as much of the truth as possible until I need to slightly modify it. So, manipulation, subterfuge, stunning. That is a 4.
He buys it. It's pretty. There isn't any suspicion on his face. And he seems just a little too tired to be bothered to lie.
So, have you lived here your whole life, Roman, or how long you been here in Philly?
Oh, I've lived here for a couple of years. It's a busy place. It's certainly a city.
Yeah. So are you going to school then? What brought you to Philly?
Oh, I'm studying to become a lawyer. I'm looking
Oh.
into international law. I think it's pretty interesting.
That is really cool. What made you want to get into law?
I enjoy seeing justice done, and I've seen a lot of people done wrong. I guess I'm a bit of a bleeding heart that way. Kind of gives you a grimace.
I think that's really honorable and cool, like wanting to help folks out like that.
So, what are you getting into? What are you studying?
I like I said, Greco-Roman history and archaeology. I find it very, very fascinating. It's just so cool finding what we can learn about the past to better understand it and prepare for the future. I think it's very important to preserve history.
That's interesting. But so have you been on like any digs yet, or are you not at that part yet?
I've been a few digs. Most recently I was in Greece, which was really, really cool. I was in Athens. It was just an incredible experience. Living there in the culture and then just going to all these old ruins and trying to piece together how things worked. Like, I don't know if you knew this, but Greek statues weren't actually like alabaster white like we think they were. That's a Victorian misconception. They actually were like super colorful paintings. So I got to help try to examine the paint on certain statues, figure out which pigments were on that statue to see to make a digital recreation of what it could have looked like with the painting. And then she kind of like quiets a little bit, realizing she just got into like a neurodivergent rambling.
Yeah, you would see that he has kind of like set his book aside. He's kind of leaned forward on the table, and he is actively listening and nodding. That's really interesting. Yeah. Which one's your favorite?
Which what? My favorite?
Like which statue? You sound like you're really interested in this kind of stuff. You have to have like a top 5.
The statue I wish we had is like, the great Athena Parthenon. it's missing. I also love the classic Venus statue where she's got her arms chopped off. Like we can try to guess how the arms were, but we don't actually know. There's so many statues that we've lost to history. Like there's the giant Colossus, which guard the entry to the port of Rhodes. Um, yeah, there's that old giant Zeus statue that we've lost. We've lost so many amazing statues, but the few we have, like they're incomplete and they're broken. Um, I have a lot of favorites. It's hard to choose. They're all so fascinating for different reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm rambling too much, please let me know. I realize you've just kind of opened a bag of worms.
Oh no, don't worry. I know a lot of people that are like intensely interested in what they're studying. I've met a lot of different college students. You should hear some of the art students that come by and just sit and show me all of their art and then go into the details of it. They go on for hours. So you're this is nothing.
Wow.
You're good. I'm a bartender. I hear a lot of things. He'll kind of give
I'm
you
sure
a
you do.
smile.
Well, I tell me a bit more about law. I've just been talking mostly about myself. So international law, you want to help people. Is there a particular law school you're going to or planning on going to? Is there a law firm you want to work for? Or do you want to work at like the UN or like something with international law?
I think I'd like to end up working at the UN, but I think I've been approached by an internship with
Is it Harrison and Co? I swear.
yes, I went off looking for it.
I know my own company. It's Harrison and Co. Now John's now. Have at it, boy. Oh,
Yeah,
that
they
that's
recently
cool.
bought out a lot of the different law firms in the area. So
Oh, um, are people worried about a monopoly, or are people happy about the merger?
from what I've seen, they're pretty happy about the merger. They treat their employees pretty well, and they seem to do pretty well. And
Are they
it's
competitive?
yes,
And you got offered an internship. Are you going to take it?
I'm pretty sure. I still have to think about it because family, different state. They want me to come back home and work over there, and this is a really big opportunity. So I am probably going to take it.
Well, congrats if you do take it. That sounds like an awesome opportunity. Work at a law firm, get more experience with the legalese stuff. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting. And he seems to relax a little more.
Yeah. So, what do you do for fun around here? I imagine bartending is a little more tedious than fun.
Well, yeah, I usually I hang out with friends. Sometimes we go partying. Sometimes we go out on trips. Um, there are some pretty good beaches if you go a little further south.
Oh yeah, there are.
hmm hmm
It is a big state, I guess.
Yeah, and sometimes
Ah,
you don't need to stay in the state. Sometimes you can just take a week off and go somewhere. If there's any time to travel, it's when you're our age. They'll give you a
oh,
smile.
absolutely. Um, yeah,
I mean,
I've been definitely.
you've been to Greece.
Yeah,
Mm,
and Italy.
yeah.
I, I take every chance I can to go overseas to go to the digs of the stuff I'm actually interested in. Not like American history isn't interesting, it's just not my specialty.
Yeah, and
And
I'm sure you would know about some pretty good beaches being to Italy and Greece.
yeah, there's some really nice beaches over there. My
There's a
friends and
brief
I are,
moment where you see him give you an up and down, and and I imagine she would be a bit confused.
uh yeah, she's a little confused why he's looking at her because she's just oblivious to any romantic intentions towards her. Yeah, really silly. But my friends and I, at one point when we were in Greece, we went to the locations where they filmed Mamma Mia because one of my friends was obsessed with that musical. But it was fun.
I bet.
For the audio listeners, Jeremiah is vibing me to sink my teeth into the gas. So, yeah, when do you clock off, or are you here the whole night? Is it night shift?
Yeah, it's night shift. I don't get off till like 1 a.m., unfortunately.
Oh man, that sucks. Do you at least get good tips?
Oh yeah, I get pretty good tips, but usually not during like weekdays. Usually more like Fridays, weekends, that kind of deal. But it's still a job. But I'm still off for about. He kind of checks his watch. Next 20 minutes if you want to stick around.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. And she's just kind of blushing and just fidgeting.
So,
Yeah.
so did you move into like the dorms around here, or did you?
Uh, no, I'm in a house with roommates. So it's a bit of a walk, but it's okay.
No, I get it. I get it. That's probably a lot cheaper. Dorms are ridiculous these
Oh
days.
my gosh, they're utterly ridiculous, and you've no privacy. I'm like, I'd rather walk. There's nothing wrong with getting a good walk in or biking. Like, I don't need to live on campus. It no.
Oh, so do you bike places regularly? Imagine you got to be in pretty good physical shape for that.
I'm still trying to get to know the area more, so I haven't had enough time yet to really bike around, but I'm definitely interested in trying to bike more. Um, I prefer walking, honestly. I like being able to stop and look at everything, especially there's so much history in Philadelphia for America, and so it's really cool to like be like, oh, that's where Benjamin Franklin lived, like, stuff like that.
Hmm.
All kinds of random historical things you can walk into just by walking.
Huh, maybe I could show you some of the best trails. I know a couple of places where I usually take walks or jogs that people don't usually bother you too much on because
Oh yeah.
if you do it along like highways, people will shout and throw things at you.
Oh, that's horrible. Um, Actually, if you're interested, there's a historical site just like really close to the bar. Actually, that's what I'm saying. It's like so cool. There's just random history. I could point it out to you if you'd like.
Are you being honest?
Yeah, she's being honest. There probably absolutely is a historical site outside that she could point him out to.
Okay, give me a charisma plus persuasion, please. You can add your stunning.
Okay, charisma and persuasion and stunning. It's Philadelphia. There's got to be a historical thing next door. That is 5 successes.
Okay. There is a
just big in his head.
there's a mild look of confusion, but he will nod. He's like, okay, well, I am. If it's just right outside, I can probably go take a look.
Yeah, it's just right outside. It's not far at all.
Okay. And he will follow you outside.
Cool. So Maddie is gonna just point it out in the it's actually behind this building. So if we just go around it, there's just so many buildings here. I'm just gonna try and lead it. Just
He will
to the back.
he will kind of walk a bit. He will walk closely behind her, not overly intrusive, but he is interested in her. She is very pretty. And as he looks around while you're leading him behind the bar, he's like, "Oh, you're not gonna mug me, right?"
No. That's not a good way to make friends.
Oh, a lot of people don't want to make friends around here. A lot of people just want your wallet.
Well, I think that's really sad. But yeah, so once they're behind the building, there's actually decent viewing of the thing. 'Cause she promised she wasn't going to take him far from the bar. So that actually over there, insert info dump about random revolutionary history or something mumbo jumbo site that's nearby, and she goes really into it. So yeah, I noticed that on the way over. It's super cool that your bar is like really close to that, and yeah, thanks for letting me show you. Some people aren't really interested in the type of stuff I am interested in.
It's more of a thing of I may not be interested in everything, and I may not know or retain a whole lot of everything, but I like listening to people talk about what they're interested in. Because
That is
you
really
kind of
sweet.
light up when
Oh,
you talk about stuff you like.
oh,
Because you have kind of been almost glowing the entire conversation since we started about talking about archaeology, and it's very, I suppose it's very attractive
oh,
about people.
thank you. You're a really great listener. Thank you for telling me more about the city and stuff. And she's just gonna awkwardly inch a little bit closer to
Mhm.
him. How does he react?
He'll lean in.
Okay. Um. Oh my gosh, I can't believe Madeline's doing this, but she's gonna kiss his cheek because she's too nervous to kiss him on the lips.
Mhm.
And then just kind of gently go down his neck, and then just quickly sink her teeth in and try to get a bite.
Okay. Give me a charisma plus subterfuge plus your ingenue plus your stunning.
Charisma? Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, charisma
Charisma.
subterfuge is the siren roll.
Yes, yes. It's just I have one subterfuge, thank goodness. I have ingenue and stunning. Okay. Okie dokie Loki. That is 4 successes.
That is the minimum. You sink your teeth in. You draw, and you manage to slake your hunger. You are not hungry enough to test your own control, but you pull back. You remember the first time you fed, and you lick the wound closed.
Okay. And then I'm gonna pull back, look him in the eyes, and say, forget.
Mm-hmm. And he will forget. And he will kind of give you a dizzy kind of smile. Like there's a bit of a blush on his cheeks. But he will kind of give you it goes a little sheepish. Kind of rubs the back of his head. It was nice meeting you, Addie. Here, let me
Um,
give you my number.
yeah, thanks. Sure. And she's just fidgeting. She's so nervous.
Yeah, and he will like pull out like a little like one of those little server pad notebooks, write down his number, rip it off, and hand it to you, along with his name.
Thanks. Well,
If you like
huh?
if you like have
Yeah.
any time this like weekend, we can hang out.
Yeah. Let me see my work schedule. And yeah. It was really nice getting to know you, but unfortunately, you should probably get back to work, and I should get home so I can study and get ready for tomorrow. But it was really nice meeting you. She just smiles at him.
You too. And he will smile back at you, and he will kind of walk you back to the front of the bar.
Okay. And she waits for him to go back in. She just
Mhm.
kind of loiters outside, trying to, see Islington through the window. You're muted, Jeremiah.
Islington will see her and get up and come outside to see how she's doing.
Less hungry, obviously. Still a bit flustered and fidgeting. Can we go home now?
Sure. And he'll call Jerry real quick. Jerry, if you could come pick us up.
He will answer, yeah. I'll be right around. Both of you give me wits and awareness, please.
Okie dokie dokie. Yay. Down a hunger.
Okay.
5.
5. 5 by 5.
Okay. You'll see a couple of different cars pull out. You see the girl that you fed on Islington as she is leaving. And she kind of gives you a wave. She kind of notices Maddie near you and is kind of a quick association of probably a student. And also gives her a wave. As you are looking at her, you see a very brief glimpse of that tattoo a little more.
Yeah?
It looks very similar to a mark that is usually left on ghouls as a way of
frick.
claimant.
Frick.
Okay. Duly noted.
Yep. It looks like a vendor one, actually.
Oh, frick.
Even better.
But she's on her way out. The wave is friendly. There's no ill intent.
No.
And she'll turn away from both of you. There are a couple of girls that she sees, and she waves eagerly and runs to join them.
Maddie was just waiting for Jerry to show up, just fidgeting.
Yep. And Jerry will pull up, and I'm gonna have him roll 2. We don't see it. He will. He will pull up. As he is pulling up, he kind of stops. He looks around. There's a mild look of curiosity, but he will unlock the doors. He'll come around and open them for you, both of you.
Maddie darts in.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry. And she just kind of like hunkers down in the seat.
So, how did it go?
I did it. He won't remember anything. He gave me his number.
Well, I can understand that. You're a very attractive young woman. He imagines. I imagine he thought that he might have gotten overwhelmed with being flustered by you. Maybe it's a possibility.
I don't know. I got too nervous to try doing it in the bar, so I'm sorry I left your site, but I figured the back alleyway would be a little safer. I don't know.
It's fine. I want you to do this from time to time, though. To stay in practice as much as anything. You could conceivably find people who are more regularly fed upon by you. We use an unfortunate term to refer to them.
A mortal herd?
Yes.
Okay.
Might make things easier on you.
Yeah, I mean, she holds up the phone number. I guess I can call him up. I don't. I would feel bad about leading him on, but I got away with it at least tonight.
Yes. And
Um.
do you remember that since when I first fed on you to take your life? You remember that sensation?
Mm-hmm.
The euphoria, it's enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. Honestly, the guy might be a shoo-in for a Ventru. His name's Roman, and he wants to study law. So,
Oh, okay. Good on
yeah,
him.
yeah. I hope he takes the internship he just got offered at Harrison and Co. It sounds like a good opportunity for him.
Ah, Harrison and Co. I am
You know
familiar
that
with
one?
them. Yes.
Is that a bad thing?
Uh, some friends are involved in running it.
Oh, so it's a kindred thing.
Yes. A friend of mine used to run it.
Used to?
She's not in town anymore, so I don't know that she runs the local branch. I suspect she's signed it off to the prince, among others.
Is this the same friend who's close to the prince?
Yes. Are you all right?
Yeah. Just
Flustered?
yeah, post-hunting jitters?
It's a bit like going on a date, I imagine.
I guess, yeah. Kind of felt like that. Except I don't kiss people on the first date.
Ah, I can understand that, certainly. But not everyone is that restrained, say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we should probably talk.
About what? I didn't do anything. Did I do something?
You didn't do anything. But when we get back to the chantry, we should find some privacy and talk.
Okay.
You did nothing wrong. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
It's more than that. I'm confident that you will be a remarkable part of our society.
Thank you, sir. I'm trying. Yeah.
You'll see Jerry kind of reach over into the passenger seat, kind of like throw something back into Maddie's lap. It looks like one of those crocheted stuffies. Serene's been giving me a lot of these recently. This might help.
Thanks, Jerry. That's really sweet of you. And she just holds it in her hands.
I had a feeling you might want to hug something after this.
In the future, if you're particularly hungry, make sure that you have an escort when you go hunting.
Uh-huh. Don't want any messes.
Indeed. If I'm not available, one of your coterie mates, perhaps, but somebody.
Would it be imposing to ask Benny?
It's not imposing. She may be busy, and she may tell you that she can't, but it's not imposing. I know Benny well enough to know that she would be happy to help you hunt.
Okay. I guess my shadow's a decent possibility. She's a Toreador. She's probably better at the flirting thing.
Oh, I imagine so. She's a lovely woman. She's probably quite good at flirting, but more to the point, the company is as useful as being good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody to help restrain.
Yeah.
Because when the beast is in control, it's less the being nervous about flirting and more the feeling the desire to go beyond normal bounds.
Yeah, I don't like how it feels when it takes over.
But you have to learn how to manage it. It's
Mhm.
part of you now.
Yep. And she just kind of stays quiet till they get to the chantry and probably go back to Islington's office.
Sure. Once they're in the office.
Yeah, as y'all are getting there, Jerry will drop you off, and there is a mildly concerning look on his face. But he won't call any attention, and he will give both of you a nod. You're welcome to
Insight
roll
check, Jerry.
Go ahead and give me a wits plus insight, and you may add your heightened senses if you'd like.
No, I want to make this fun. Let's not add heightened senses. Maddie's just like, why is he concerned? I don't know. Dang, Maddie, that was a really good roll. That is 5 successes. My only failure was on the blood die. She's like,
Very
what?
nice.
Why is he concerned?
You kind of remember looking at him occasionally through the rear view mirror as he was driving. And you would recall that you've taken a longer way to get back to the chantry. You'd be able to gauge that he saw something that worried him. And is glancing back, but seems to be relieved now.
Jerry, is everything okay? Did you see something?
I'm not sure.
Good man. If you feel uncomfortable with the situation, taking standard security procedures is the correct answer.
He'll nod, and he falls into what almost seems like a parade rest. Then he'll give a nod to both of you. I will. Miss Clark, Mr. Islington. Have a good evening.
Good evening, Jay.
Catch you later, Jerry.
I'll make sure to get Netflix going for you when you're done with your super serious conversations.
Thanks.
Islington, this would remind you that Jerry's former Dometer was a member of the Presidium.
He will make sure to nod at Jerry as he leaves. Puts that away for, we'll address that later. And leads Maddie to his office. he'll shut the door and invite her to sit down in the chair in his office for guests.
She does so. She's probably sat in that chair a lot.
All right. Now is the time for you to ask, to talk about what you saw.
Why?
Why did he do it?
She nods.
Lots of reasons. Our society runs on power perception. He could easily have done it to be seen as having power. There is something that you must reconcile with because you will struggle with it yourselves. As we get older, there is a tendency for us to become more and more callous. Our empathy becomes reduced because we've been exposed to so much horror. And we've been forced to do things against our natures so often that we become hardened to it. If you go too far down that path, it looks like sociopathy. Those are good reasons as to why. But ultimately, we won't know for sure why. Even with his notes, I don't have a window into his mind. But his mind bent at some point to the point where he thought this was acceptable.
I thought we'd lost the knowledge for gargoyles a bit, and so he really must not have cared and really looked into it.
He had access to some knowledge that the Sabbat had, and the Sabbat was less restricted in the things that they were allowed to study. Goatrix was one of the founding seven and left to go join. And we found his journal, or one of his journals, there. We might have gotten the idea from that. I know from experience that Goatrix's journals can have a peculiar effect on a man's mind. But that's not actually the reason you are concerned. It's not the question you really want to ask, is it?
I'm just appalled to finally really understood what you meant. Said people hate us. Now that I've seen it, I logically understood what you were telling me. It was totally to see where they did horrific experiments.
Can you live with it?
Do I have a choice?
We all have choices, dear. It's just some choices are giving results we do not wish. There's always a choice.
It's reality. I can't deny reality.
That's true.
I know I didn't commit those heinous sins. But I now understand better why people judge us like clan.
Indeed.
Why people may look at me, even though I've done nothing, and fear I may do the same thing.
Our world is horrifying. It was horrifying without the addition of vampires, demons, werewolves, changeling, ghosts, and all the things that go bump in the night. It was horrifying. The history of my own nation is one slicked with blood and theft and conquest. You're an American. You should be aware of that. Also carries that weight. When we become kindred, we can't hide from it any longer. And you need to learn how to live with it. I do so by trying to do some good. To never pretend that that didn't happen. Never pretend that somehow I'm clean. I don't count because I didn't do those things and I'm nice. Of course it counts. But I do the best I can. You're a good person. You spend your life trying to make up for the sins of the past. You'll fail. The best you can do is be the best person you can be. They will hate us, and they will have reason. And not for nothing, all of them are guilty of sins too.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how I'm gonna look Cal in the eyes next time we see each other. What we've done to the gangrel. Is the mic picking me up? Gosh dang it. I don't know how I'm gonna face Cal, look him in the eyes, knowing what we've done to the gangrel. Freaking mic.
Cal is a gangrel.
Mm-hmm.
And the gangrel are not free from sin either. There are monstrous figures in gangrel history. The Ventru. If you want to see a gleam of rage in a Bruja's eyes, mention Carthage sometime.
I think I'll pass.
It's best to learn all of them.
Yeah, not in the room with the Brujas who's gonna get mad about Garth. I'll just read about it.
Fair enough. And the Bruja are not innocent either. They, of course, have their own rages, but they're head of their clan. They're antediluvian. By all accounts, diablerized 2 other antediluvians.
I get it. We're no clans without.
We're all monsters. We're cursed. But we don't have to be damned. Being good, being kind, being true, that's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose. It's easier to be brutal in our society because it has been for so long. The whole of our society is structured to make you that way. Resist. It'll be hard sometimes, but resist.
I will. I'm at least glad that the Tremere here, we all agree we don't want to repeat the sins of the past. Start anew. Try to make a clean slate for ourselves in the city.
Islington will come around the desk and sort of take Maddie's hands. I do not want you to go through what I had to go through. I will do everything I can to help you, to protect you, and to give you the strength so you don't need my help. But this is going to be hard.
Yes, I understand. And thank you. You're very good too, Sam.
I have my darkness like anyone else. I hide it. But it's there. Someday, you'll meet your darkness. You'll need to come to terms with it.
Okay.
The best advice I can give you is to acknowledge it as your part of you, but not let it be the thing that controls you.
Understood. How do you come to terms with it? With your darkness and your beast?
I accepted it as part of myself. Rather than try and pretend it's external, that it tries to keep me from something or something that I have to fight. I accept it as part of myself and get some control in that acceptance. It's possible to learn how to control it to the point that you are able to control things about yourself you can't imagine now.
Does your beast have a voice?
You've heard yours.
Yeah. It frightens me.
Was it me?
And without looking up, she slowly nods yes. I sometimes try to imagine your advice, but it's frightening when I hear your voice, but it the beast instead.
Yeah. Mine was my sire.
Is that how it usually works?
It's someone who represents something that cuts beyond your walls. My sire was very cruel. And I was in love with him at one point. I try every night to be as far from what he was as I can be. But yes, you will hear my voice when the beast comes to the surface enough for you to hear it. Because of all the people here, I'm the one that gets inside your walls.
So I just gotta practice managing it then.
Yes. Managing it and recognizing when it's trying to take control. You can listen to it. Just don't let it drive you.
I'll work on it. I am. Sometimes it's hard to realize when it's taking over. I stupidly got mad at a ghost we found in the Haven, the museum Haven. Felt
When you
stupid afterwards.
when you feel a pressure on you to do certain things, to act in a certain way that doesn't feel like it's naturally flowing from you, you begin to recognize that. It seems hard, but you can resist that. It makes it hard to do anything else. But if it's going to endanger you or the people around you, if it's going to cause you a problem, resist it.
Okay. I will work on that.
I'm so very proud of you, Maddie. And I'm sorry that you had to learn about the horrors the way you did. But you're going to discover there are a lot of them out here. And not just the things we've done as Tremere, but Kindred Society.
I
And
suppose it was better just rip the Band-Aid off.
all I can ask you to do is stay true to your principles. Some things are worth fighting for.
Yeah. I'll do that.
Very good. Now,
Maddie. Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were finished.
Go ahead, Kindle.
Go on.
We're now stubborn each other, okay. Miss Clock. I believe you have movies to watch with Jerry.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of a marathon.
Very well. Do you need anything more from me?
No. That should be all, sir. Thank you.
Of course. If you want, you can come to my residence and stay there. We have the house. It might be more comfortable than staying in the chantry sometimes with everything we discovered here.
Okay. Maybe I'll come over for day sleep this time.
Very good.
Yes, Kendall. SG. Oh, why is SG?
Give me an intelligence plus insight.
Oh, do I get out of my Islington specialty?
Sure.
Great use of XP was buying that specialty.
I bet.
4 successes.
As you are walking out of his office, and you are considering everything that you have talked about, everything you've experienced today, as you are walking toward a more common area where Jerry usually sets up these little movie marathons or where y'all watch things amongst the other Tremere, you come to the realization that girl he fed on while y'all were at the bar, you were just like her.
Ah,
You were just
great.
as much preyed upon as she was.
To become a
But
ghoul and not a
now,
kindred?
you don't know that. He knows that. But you were realizing that you are the predator now. And that comes with a certain degree of responsibility. Because there are even people who hunt predators. And there are many, many prey. And as you go find Jerry to watch that movie, he's got a bunch of like blankets and pillows kind of set up. He's got the Netflix set up. And he's probably got some really dorky TV show that he's ready to put on in the background.
Yep.
Maybe something with a little bit of archaeology for you to yell at and all of its inaccuracies.
If we're watching Indiana Jones, got it.
Or National Treasure.
We are in Philadelphia!
Yes. But with that, I win the session.